for Israel. But our problem is we're coming from Columbus, Ohio, and our flight here was canceled to go to Newark. So they've rerouted us through Chicago and then to Newark, and I'm afraid we're going to get in kind of on the late side. Hi. We're on a plane heading for Chicago.
Why is that, huh?
Well, we were supposed to be heading to Newark with the plane to take us to Newark. Either something was wrong with it or it never showed up or something. The airline, the ticket agent didn't exactly know. So we're now, instead of being on America West, we're now on United going to Chicago. From Chicago, we will go to Newark and hopefully get there in time to pick up our El Al flight. Good luck, the Solomons.
We're in Newark and taking a look at our El Al 747. Waiting for our flight to depart. We'll board in about 20 minutes. We'll start boarding and then we'll be on our way. Idea of our position. We're coming up being just south of Reykjavik, row 60.
Yes, as we got on the plane, we discovered we were in the very last seat. It's real thrilling. One of the biggest disadvantages, these seats do not recline. So even if you think you can sleep on this plane, you can't. See the pillow? You think it goes behind your head? No, that's not what you use it for. Use it for your behind. My tailbone is so sore and we still have 7 hours to go.
And for our Hebrew readers out there, there's our position. What time is it, honey?
Oh God. It is Eastern Standard Time, 4:30 in the morning. The sun is bright and shining. And everyone is praying.
Looking at the Alps. The masses. We're in a huge line waiting to go through customs. We've been here for about half an hour, and from the looks of things, we'll be here for a good another half an hour. Well, after about 3 hours, we're finally getting ready to leave Ben Gurion Airport. It's a mob scene here. We're getting a taxi instead of our regular driver because we don't know what happened to the regular driver. We're at the Dan Carmel.
We're looking off the balcony of our hotel room in Haifa. We're at the Dan Carmel, I guess you pronounce it. We didn't get to see much of it last night because it was pitch black when we arrived. This morning we came out and we've got this beautiful harbor right off our balcony.
And the door would open inside. So this would be a shop. Now, this here is also a door. And then there is another one over there. You can actually see, and then there is one here and further up.
So the stores were small?
Yeah. The whole thing was small, but you can really see a whole line of shops, a sidewalk, a road, and then the exact same thing on the other side, right? he's also kind of a hippie, if I may say. No, used to be. Actually used to be. He's a photographer and he does photography, but he also does things of the infinite. You know, maybe some of you heard about Escher, the Dutch artist that does things that are like ever rotating, that's all kind of infinite things. So he does the same with Jewish symbols. If you're interested in this kind of stuff, he's also a nice man. He doesn't shake hands with women, but he talks to them very nicely. Okay, a few words about Jewish mysticism, thing that is called Kabbalah. First, the meaning of the word. What does it mean, Kabbalah? Kabbalah is something you receive. By the way, the same word in Hebrew is for receipt. When you go to the store and you buy something and you ask for a receipt, you say, "Give me Kabbalah." So Kabbalah is to receive.
Kabbalat Shabbat.
Kabbalat Shabbat is welcoming, receiving the Shabbat. That's true. And really it has to do with tradition. It's something that is not written so much, but something that that goes on traditionally, from one rabbi to a student, from one generation to the other, so on and so forth. Luria and his disciples used to come here and pray, especially on Friday afternoons, because according to their tradition, the Messiah will come on Friday afternoon, because they believe Shabbat, Saturday in other languages, but actually Shabbat, is a fraction of what heaven is going to be like.
And we're on the Galilee. Watching a beautiful sunset over the mountains. And we'll be spending the evening in Tiberias, which is coming around now.
Tiberias.
Wait, your head's in the light bulb.
You get Tiberias.
And we're approaching Tiberias. You can see in the upper right-hand corner of our picture a beautiful just past new moon. Good morning. Boker Tov. We are in Tiberias in our lovely room here at the Sheraton Moriah. Our lovely fruit basket that you saw when we started out, or brasket, as they say here in Israel. And if you'll follow me along, I'll show you an unusual feature or two of our room. Most of this looks like any typical room you'd find anywhere else. This is our safe. Listen carefully. That's if you make an error. And if it's closed properly. Love the music. And one of the more unusual features. Right. You're seeing the same yellow tile that I'm seeing. And this, no kidding, is actually a beautiful view that we have out of our balcony. We're on the 9th floor, so we have an elevated shot here of the Sea of Galilee, which is what you're looking at. And down to where the pool is, filled with water from the Sea of Galilee. In fact, most of Israel gets its drinking water from the Sea of Galilee.
This is the Eilat stone. This is the national stone of Israel, which called Eilat. It's very interesting stone. That's what I think, because it's come from my country. The stone is a mixture of turquoise, malachite, and lapis lazulis. 3 stones which are naturally mixed. The stone is mined King Solomon mine next to the city Eilat. Israel doesn't export this stone. You can find it only here in Israel. If, for example, if he's doing a rain, if he's setting a rain, you have to put it on a wax and something which will hold it, so it's not going to move when he set the stone inside, because we give you guarantee for the safety of the stone, so it have to be very safe set inside. And you can see, that's why he's melting it. You see what he's doing? And afterwards, when you melt it, you take the ring out. It's not a problem, only when it's a bracelet. But this is the only way to make sure that it will stay and it's not going to move when you set in it.
Zaria. along the
Liberation?
coast.
Oh, we missed.
Then we took the road inland to Nazareth, and from Nazareth to Haifa. We saw the Bay of Haifa, remember that? And the next day we drove to Sipori, and then to Akko, then to Sfat, and now we are in Tiberias. See the Sea of Galilee.
Welcoming you to the Golan. I'm very happy that you're visiting the Golan Heights. I'm Yonit, and I'll tell you a bit about the Golan, and then we'll go around the kibbutz, and we'll end up in the dining room, and we'll have lunch. Just to locate you, we're on the southern part of the Golan Heights. It begins about 2 miles south of us, and continues until Mount Hermon, which is in the north. It's the highest mountain in Israel. There are 32 Israeli settlements Jewish settlements on the Golan Heights. There are also Druze settlements on the foothills of the Golan. Today we have about 40 families and 100, maybe less now, members. It's considered to be a very small kibbutz. There are kibbutzim in Israel with over 2,000 members. Yes, so 100 members is a very small kibbutz. We make our living on agriculture, of course. We try to grow everything that we can on this land, and that's in season. We grow tomatoes and potatoes and garlic and flowers and corn, anything that we can, and we have the market for it, we try to grow it.
We're actually in the Syrian bunker, looking out
Everything you can see.
over everything that the Syrians could see. This is a kibbutz down below.
Then I saw the Jag slide into the curb. I know I'll never forget that horrible sight. I guess I found out for myself that everyone was right. Won't come back from Dead Man's Curve. Dead Man's Curve is no place to play. Dead Man's Curve, you best keep away.
This could have been us.
Here is the best example of what a tell usually looks like, over there. You see that, right? Mm-hmm. It's a very steep hill, usually rounded, but it doesn't have to be rounded, with a flat top. Why is it like this? Because when originally they built the city, they built walls around it. And when the city collapsed, the walls collapsed around the top of the tell, of the hill, and created a flat top. Then the second layer went over the same framework of the first one. the tail actually grows up a few meters every period. And so what we see today is after thousands of years of building and destructions, we have all this. So potentially if we will take a bulldozer and dig a canyon through the whole thing, on the walls of the canyon we will see the different layers.
And we're in Beit Yan, and we're walking into the theater, the Roman theater.
The amphitheater we had in Germany was smaller. Here's where the stage probably was.
Aber niet het toeristisch bedrijf dat als auszien veel jaren.
Marilyn, say something. Clearly.
Can you believe the acoustics?
I do. You're just moving your lips now.
Here on the right there is an Israeli settlement. We spoke about, or you hear about, Israeli settlements of the West Bank. Here is an example of one. This is a small one. There are some that are real towns, and some that you see like here, a very small farming place.
The barbed wire.
And there is barbed wire and everything around them, of course, because they live in a hostile environment. The road is controlled by Israel. From here on, we're entering to an area that has kind of joint custody. The road here goes through an area that is under a full control of the Palestinian Authority, and only the road has some Israeli inspection over it, but it's not done without the Palestinians. The Israelis and the Palestinians here are patrolling this road together. That's all. You see these people sitting on their jeeps. That's the tourist attraction here. See them here on the right? That's all. See them on the right? The people on the left, the vehicle on the left is a Palestinian police vehicle, and the vehicle on the right is an Israeli police vehicle. And they run a patrol from that point all the way to Jericho, which is about 7 miles, or even less, 5 miles down the road and back. So this is their starting point. And so now we are officially in the Palestinian Authority territory. It's a little complicated, I'm sure. Not everybody really understands what is Palestinian Authority, what is Israeli Authority, what is it. Well, don't worry, most of the Israelis cannot follow it either. Just, it's really complicated because it's really a little land, and for two entities to share it, trying to keep it all, and to allow the other also to have their part is kind of strange. Jericho was always a resort since its beginning, basically. And now they are building, no, you can't see the wall. And now they are building a few new facilities like this hotel here on the left. They have a casino.
So who's building this?
The Palestinians. This is all Palestinian work. They have a casino here, and since gambling is illegal in Israel, they're making a lot of money from Israelis that are coming here to gamble. Behind them, they all are built of mud bricks, and if it really rains hardly, those houses will melt, but it hardly ever happens. See the Israeli vehicle? We saw them before at the end of the patrol. This is the beginning of the patrol. See the Israelis and the Palestinians? Each one sits alone, but they talk. They're not enemies or anything. אילן ואבן שויה בחלומה העיר אשר בדד יושבת ובליבה חומה ירושלים של זהב ושל נחושת ושל אור הלא לכל שיריים It's the Hebrew verse for if I will forget thee, Jerusalem, may my right arm be forgotten. Im eshkachech Yerushalayim tishkach yemini.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. אמן.
לחיים.
Chaim. Grandma Molly, this is for you. And this is the Dung Gate, our entrance.
I told you, go back here. You gotta walk slower.
Security getting into the city. It's very tight. This is the Kotel.
Bar mitzvah going on. What are we watching for? These are the women on this side. You see? You get the women?
An elevated area where people can mess around. In Second Temple time, there'd be hundreds of thousands of Jews coming every year or 3 times a year to visit the temple area. And so they all had to mess around here. And before Herod, there was not enough room for them to do this. So the extension Herod did was to allow more people to mess around the old temple.
Dabru alev Yerushalayim v'kiru eleha ki malat teva ki nitzavona ki lakha miyad נפלאים בכל חטאותיה.
But in times where the floor went higher, people used this as one wall of a home. And they would put beams across to create the ceiling, right? And then build walls around. So for as long as the city went up, they kept on elevating their ceilings.
The masonry on the right is from the Herodian period. The stones are dressed so carefully that each stone fits the adjoining blocks perfectly. Each course is recessed about 2 centimeters from the one below. This building method gives additional stability to the western wall. It's like building a pyramid. Each one is slightly smaller than the one before.
So there is the continuation of the wall down through the glass to where the very bottom it meets bedrock. And there's Mount Moriah down there. Thanks.
See, the stones that you stand on are the original street pavement from Herod's time.
Down the Via Dolorosa in Jerusalem that day, the soldiers tried to clear the narrow street, but the crowd pressed in to see the man condemned to die on Calvary. La Via Dolorosa, triste día en Jerusalén, los soldados le abrían paso a Jesús, mas la gente se acercaba para ver al que llevaba aquella cruz. Por la Via Dolorosa, que es la vida Cristo, Rey y Señor, y fue Él quien quiso ir por su amor por ti. Down the Via Dolorosa, all the way to Calvary.
This is in Bethlehem. It's chaos there where the buses are coming in. Traffic is a mess.
And by tradition, this is the place where Jesus was born. This is why it is so popular. When Jesus was born, it did not look this big. And it could not accommodate so many people. Basically, according to the New Testament, Mary and Joseph were not from here, they were from Nazareth. But they had property here. How come? because this is the city that originally King David's family was from. And according to the New Testament, Jesus was a descendant of the same family.
And we're heading to the home of our illustrious guide, who invited us to come in and see his house.
Bring his work home.
I bring mine home once in a while.
So you take terrible taking a picture.
How many children do you have besides
Three
your son?
boys.
All boys.
Three
And now
boys.
is the school in this area?
No, they drive to Jerusalem. From here to Jerusalem is 20 minutes.
Do they have a school bus?
Bedouin children.
Because the fact that tour buses stop here makes these people into a nation of beggars, and really it's not right.
Okay, go.
I will tell you.
Sit down, Murray.
I will tell you more about
Right,
here.
right over the road.
They have a like a winter area.
You're probably in the right place. So.
My luck, the gate will be open.
Masada became, in the last, I would say, 100 years, a model of heroism. Whose heroism?
The Jews.
The Jews. And what did they do to get to earn the title of being heroes?
They held out the room.
They resisted.
They committed suicide.
Well,
Actually, they killed themselves.
eventually.
That was the big heroism. So this slope that goes gradually, relatively gradually down from the top of the mountain to the car is actually the Roman ramp. They had stones around it like big balls, and they rolled them down. So this is called Jewish bowling.
Take the camera.
But the Romans were smart. They used Jewish slaves to build the ramp. They said, "You want to kill some? Go ahead. They are your brothers." This was the one of the 7 Roman siege encampment. This was the place where the commander of the siege stayed, and other 6 were all around.
And we're at the Dead Sea.
Here's Gary floating in the Dead Sea. How deep's the water?
Indians lost.
We knew that. Old news.
That is ugly looking stuff.
Wait, you said you could. I can't.
All right.
Well, I can't get to my back.
Your back is covered. I got you earlier. So why don't you go on out there and show how you float. It's easy, isn't it? Hard to starboard. In the background, by the way, this is Jordan across the Dead Sea from the Israeli side. All right, there she is, wiggling her feet. And now she's going to try to stand. Are you floating? Hands straight up. That's the best you look at that. Floating chest high, straight up. This is the lowest spot on Earth that we were just in. And one of the more beautiful spots on Earth as well. Wouldn't you agree, honey?
Thank you. That was a nice compliment.
It's very beautiful.
From Jerusalem, if you look over my shoulder, widens the shot out. You'll see a picture of the old city and David's Tower over my left shoulder here. We're about to take a walk to the new city of Jerusalem this morning with our guide as a last day on the tour. Last night we went to the hotel, Wailing Wall. And right after Shabbat had started. And today we take the walking tour of the new city.
On the rooftops in the Jewish quarter overlooking the Temple Mount, you can see the Dome of the Rock.
Mount of Olives.
And in the distance, the Mount of Olives in the cemetery.
This is Amir, our friend and former tour guide.
Yeah, and this is the last minute that we see each other.
Right.
We're
At
taking
least for
us to
this
the bus
time.
this time around.
Yeah, I'm taking you to the bus station just to make sure that you're leaving because I'm so glad.
Thanks so much. It was wonderful.
And yeah, well, unlike what I said before, I really love them.
Okay. We're about maybe 75 miles south of Beersheba. And this is an unexpected natural wonder. And we will be attempting, I think, this path right here, which we're following down.
Down, around, down.
Over there. Camel Lookout. We proceeded along the rim of the crater, not being able to actually find the trail that goes down, but found some unusual areas of beauty. Shadid Gofi, which I'm sure means something. Here we are, just a slight fraction of the way down. We did find the correct trail, fortunately. And Marilyn is very confident that we're going to be able to do this hike, which it is a bit warm. We should have plenty of water, but it was rather strenuous even coming down. I'll pan up now and show you about where we came from. I can't exactly see, but it was in this general direction up the top. You can see that sculpture we went by, and if I continue to pan across, there is the overlook that we were on what seemed like moments ago. It was probably about an hour ago. Well, we've met the end of the trail as far as we're concerned. Yeah, there's Marilyn on rocks. We found a nice shady spot. These were a little, a semi-cave here, about, hard to estimate, but I would say probably halfway down, maybe a little bit more than that from where we were. The trail certainly continues out of these rocks, as you can see down there, and onto the Black Hills, which we saw from the very top, which was our ultimate goal, but we want to save a little something for climbing out of here. Otherwise, we'll be spending a lot more time in the Negev than we ever anticipated. Show you that outpost, the overhang where we were. Marilyn says, don't worry, we're almost there. She may be trying to talk me into continuing. There's the visitor center. We were on the roof, as you can see, I think. We're working our way back up the mountain, slowly but surely. How you doing, honey?
I'm here.
Really?
Yeah.
Feeling
We're gonna
okay?
make it. I haven't complained yet, I promise.
I'm
feeling fine.
Okay. We were just remarking on how much clearer the bottom of the crater is as you look. Looking down at the bottom of the crater and looking on out as the sun drops into the west. As we finish the hike out, there's Mr. Ibex, and
was the Carpentry Path, which is what we planned on taking.
It's called the Carpentry Path?
Carpentry Path.
We never did see the sign.
On the way down. Turn so people can see our goal from up here. The wire.
Yeah.
He's his little
He's
bird.
magnificent. Look at him.
Look at the little one looking, Gary. Well, look at them all. Gonna catch up.
Right down the road. Okay, on we go. There's a little baby. Run right along the side where I would be much too scared. His family has jumped over the side and is running along, so he's trying to keep up with them. We made it to the top. We're on that lookout point we were looking up at, and we started out from, and that's the spot we came from with a little bit of shade, and unbelievably we're here.
I think if we'd planned it better, started early in the morning, brought some food, we could have made a whole day out of it. Oh, look at this bird gliding here. We might have managed it.
Yep. It's maybe halfway down to where, as you can see, we were shooting for in that general area. But we had a great hike, and we didn't kill ourselves. Limp Bizkit in Beersheba. In Beersheba with obviously Stephanie, and she's going to show us a little bit around her room and the trailer.
This will be a very quick tour. This side's Shirley's side. That's her bed and
There's Shirley.
her pictures and everything.
Yes.
That's my tapestry on the window. And
Yes, that we just panned by.
that's my own.
And some pictures from Aunt Lori. Let's see what else there is.
This is our main room.
Called the main room.
It's not called anything.
Oh, it is the main
It's the
room.
main room.
Okay.
Stove. I had to learn how to use fire.
Ah, dangerous thought.
I burned myself 3 times. Scar.
Scars, good.
Scar.
So a little something to bring back from Israel.
Sandwich maker that one of my roommates just brought. I'm so excited.
Oh, that's great.
This is my food cabinet. I got some Hungry Jeff because I was excited to see it.
Right.
And, oh, and there's ants. See them? Look.
And now Stephanie will give us a tour of the bathroom.
An exotic Israeli bathroom.
Toilet. Tank. Where the air goes out, usually the bad air. Now, Steph, can you explain for
I really have to go though, Dad. I'm
Yep,
going to be
this
late.
is the last of it. Explain how the shower works.
You turn the knob and
Yes.
water comes out the faucet.
Isn't that incredible?
all
Here
the
we are.
bathroom.
And then there's a little squeegee because there's actually no curtain. We're at Tel Beersheba National Park. This may be the well of Abraham.
We're at the beginning of Tel Beersheba, which is one of the oldest Israelite cities they've excavated. It is proposed that this well, which is outside the city gates, is the actual well where Abraham was.
Don't fall in.
You can't even see the bottom of it. It's so deep.
And there is the actual pulley used by Abraham. Obviously much of this has been reconstructed.
Actually, without
but
my sunglasses, this well is dug and lined with rocks.
Okay, there we go. Ooh, there it was.
I think it hit the side. It hit the side, not the
No,
bottom.
there's a bottom there. Ooh! Good grief! Do that again. Was that it?
That was it.
Wait, get a bigger rock. We gotta. Here we go. Now let's be totally silent, and we'll see what happens. Here we go. There it was.
We should have
Dunk.
That was at least, what, 5-10 seconds?
Yeah. Okay. Great. Abraham's well. That's awesome. Boker Tov. We are in Tel Aviv, overlooking the beautiful Mediterranean beaches. We're taking a walk along the promenade that runs from Tel Aviv to the old city of Jaffa. This is a quick look on the promenade. There's an Israeli girl, just happens to be here looking out over the ocean. Sicha? At medaberet Anglit?
Low.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. She has no understanding of Hebrew. having just said she doesn't speak English.
No, you said Hebrew.
Anglit.
Oh, and.
We're in Tel Aviv. It's a kosher Pizza Hut. Another Tel Aviv bait, Merkakat, and a horn. A little water park. And here's a continuation of the water park. Only foot traffic allowed on this path. No motor vehicles. Once in a while you'll see a truck or something come through, but other than that, no motor vehicles at all. And on this side, the Mediterranean. This is the Museum of the Irgun in Tel Aviv. We're still in Jaffa and we're having lunch, and I just wanted you to see a typical kind of Israeli lunch salad. This is wonderful. I'm going to show you Marilyn's too. It's a salmon salad, eggs, chives, onions, a little bit of lettuce, some capers.
With salad dressing, this side's prettier.
All right, take another look. This is what it looked like before I started messing it up. It is delicious, and the bread is wonderful as well. Hot, just out of the oven bread. And Marilyn's salad, she has not touched hers yet. What's that called?
Delicatessa salad, but it's got eggplant in it, and mozzarella cheese, and the typical Israeli salad mixed in, which is cucumbers and tomatoes. And
Sailing in the Mediterranean. This is the view out our window. We're on the 4th floor. Also from our room, right across the way, we can see the typical collection of kitty cats that are feral. Feral, that's what they are. They are everywhere. They're wild. And they just kind of hunt around. As you can see, the car's got them out of the way. Good morning. We're in Tel Aviv for our last day, and if you think this looks like something you might recognize, you're probably right. We're in a little park. And you're not allowed to let your dogs do what you just done seen. So let me just show you the little sign there.
Very graphic.
We're at Tel Aviv University looking for the Diaspora Museum, and there's going to be some sort of memorial for Yitzhak Rabin, and they're rehearsing for it right now. Here we go. Marilyn's going to get a little souvenir of Mediterranean sand, or Israeli sand really for that matter.
There it is.
Okay.